We are getting a news from Uttar Pradesh wherein suddenly violence has erupted between locals and police officials. The government has decided to shut down the internet, shut down the schools in the region. This shows that the situation is worsening and the government is taking actions to bring in law and order. Now, first of all, look at the region about which we are talking. Here you have the map of Uttar Pradesh. And if you look at the western part of Uttar Pradesh, here you have one district called Sambhal district. In the Sambhal district, you have Chandosi as a town where we have one masjid called Shahi Jama Masjid. And this violence has erupted in the vicinity of Shahi Jama Masjid. Now the question is why this violence has started. So recently one petition was filed in the local court of Uttar Pradesh wherein petitioner said that the mosque Shahi Jama Masjid actually does not belong to Muslim population or the Muslim community, rather it belongs to Hindu community. Why? Because at this place there was no mosque, rather earlier there was a temple. The name of the temple is Sri Harihara temple. This temple used to belong to Lord Kalki, and we know about Lord Kalki. He is considered to be one of the avatar or incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He is supposed to be the future avatar of Lord Vishnu who is going to start the Satyug. He will be ending the Kalyug and start with this Satyug. So there is a key importance in Hindu scriptures given to Lord Kalki. Now the petitioners are saying earlier there was this temple, but when Muslim invasion took place in India, especially in the year 1526, we saw Babur invading India. At that time, many temples were destroyed and then converted into mosques. And they are saying, the petitioners are saying, this Sri Harihara temple used to exist here and then it was destroyed and a mosque was created instead. So the petitioners are saying they should have access to this region. And now what happened is that the local court heard this petition and court ordered some inquiry to be taken ahead. So the court said, let's go ahead and do one survey of this particular mosque. After the survey, we will decide what to do. So when this survey was being conducted, at that time we saw sudden violence between the local community living in that region and the police. Now if we talk about Jama Masjid specifically, what is Jama Masjid? And we are talking in legal terms. So if you go to the British era, at that point of time, we saw one act coming into picture named Ancient Monuments Preservation Act 1901. Now under this act, this particular Jama Masjid gets some protection. It is termed as a protected monument under this particular act. Not just this thing, if you look at the Archaeological Survey of India's website, they mention this Jama Masjid as monument of national importance. That means in a legal way we can say this is a place which gets protections from the law itself. Now some people are saying if it is a monument of national importance, it is important for the entire community or the entire citizenry of India, then this monument should be accessible to everyone. So right now the legal questioning has begun in the court. Now there is another side which is coming from the Muslim community. They are saying that in the year 1991, one act was brought in, that is Places of Worship Act. And at that time we saw there was Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. The act said that if there is any monument, any place of worship which exists in India and its status, whichever status it had before 1947 15th August, that is our Independence Day. So if there was a place of worship, that is there was a mosque which was mosque on this particular date, then it will continue as mosque. If there was a temple, then its status will not change. So the status of places of worship will remain as it was at this particular date. Now this act says this thing, but there was an exception given under this act. The exception was given only for this Ayodhya Babri issue. because this Ayodhya Babri issue was already sub judice, that is, the matter was being considered already by the court. So this was kept outside of this particular act. So Muslim community is saying this act clearly says that you cannot change the status of any places of worship. So even if you are saying that this particular mosque, Shahi Jama Masjid, earlier was a temple, but at the time of 1947 it was a mosque, so its status should continue as it is. So let's see what happens in future.